It's time to know what's on the front pages of Nigerian newspapers. Joining me is lawyer and social development advocate Jide Ologun, as well as public affairs analyst Smart Akweju. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you.
All right, we begin now with the blueprint. Kaduna killings hit 17 in 3 days. Zango Kataf chief, son slain. Fish out killers, Erufai orders security chiefs. And then we'll move to the front page of the Daily Times. Now, Buhari warns protesters, assures youth of support. Let's quickly move to the front page of the Nigerian News Direct. I want to be sacrificed to achieve Igbo presidency. Governor Umahi speaking there. Yesterday, he moved from the PDP to the APC. And then to the front page of the Daily Trust. Now, kidnappers demand 270 million ransom for 9 ABU students. I never knew I would survive. Driver. Multiple attacks claim 16 lives in 4 Kaduna local government areas. Bandits have been degraded. Police Affairs Minister speaking there. All right, let's quickly move now to the Leadership newspaper. 386 Boko Haram terrorists convicted in 2 years, 40 cases pending, 227 suspects discharged between 2017 and 19. NAF refutes report of helicopter crash in Bama, Zulum, others rehabilitation of Chibok school. And on the front page of the National Economy, Nigeria intensifies strict COVID-19 safety protocols as Kanu, Port Harcourt, Enugu airports reopen for international flights. On the front page of the Daily Sun now, NSAS, Buhari talks tough, says he won't allow a repeat of protests. Nigeria's corporate existence not negotiable, President. He responded appropriately to NSAS issues. APC governors, be careful on clampdown, Reps Caucus warns. And to the front page of the Guardian newspaper, air travel targets 35% traffic as European carriers resume. Federal government lifts ban on Lufthansa, Air France, KLM. Qatar amid second wave, Enugu reopens to local travelers. And on the front page of the Nation newspaper, 2023, PDP fumes as its governor defects to APC. Party dissolved states, zonal excuse, Umahi left for personal reasons, says Wike. And finally, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, I won't allow a repeat of #NSAS protests. Buhari speaking there. Our security chiefs express concern over bandits, kidnappers, activities in North. Police around Africa shine to prevent #NSAS meeting. Court grants #NSAS protester Musele 1 million naira bill. #NSAS. Government must dialogue with youth. APC governors insist. All right, let's quickly look at the story on the front page of the Blueprint, talking about the killings in Kaduna, where it is reported that 17 people have been killed in 3 days. And we also would recall that I think on Monday, about 15 persons were kidnapped along the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway. I'd like for us to quickly look into this matters because there has been concerns amongst even northern governors talking about the increase in security issues of recent times across that region. I'll start with you, Jide Ologun.
We must be sincere this morning and focus on fundamentals, not on the symptoms. Those being killed are the symptoms. And by virtue of that content analysis, I want to go back to the role of leadership in all this. I recall that there was a report on the 3rd of December 2016 where Governor El-Rufai himself claimed that he traced some Fulanis to some foreign countries, some violent Fulanis, to pay them to stop reprisal attacks. He is the #1 security officer in Kaduna State. They've made several promises because I was reading from that report. He's asking that it should be fished out for justice. We need that justice. And we said it at a time there's what we call influence, the power of influence. Towards 2019 election, he also threatened the body bag. So when you see violence tolerated in any community, you cannot but have instances like this.
So his body language and all of the things that he has been saying, stemming from your statement, is what is encouraging the activities of these bandits?
Exactly. And the next question is this. Now, at a time, ammunition were being imported into this country with containers. And some of us were asking, you seize this ammunition, what do you do? Do you destroy them? Where did they disappear into? Tramadol and different kinds of drugs were being brought in. And I have not left my content analysis because I want this problem solved globally in Nigeria. Again, the foundation of all this banditry and killings, it's a form of hatred. We need to be united. Back to content.
Hatred towards whom?
Within the country, we have not synchronized our unity. In year 2013, June, it is reported, the candidate of Congress for Progressive Change, Muhammadu Buhari, who is now our revered president, said that clamp down on Boko Haram is injustice to the north. That the Niger Delta people could not be pampering and granting amnesty while clamping down on Boko Haram. And that is why I took the expression Boko Haram has been technically defeated with a pinch of salt. So our leaders, our elders must go back to really deal with fundamental issues. And according to him then, that the source of crime in Nigeria and insecurity was the fact that some governors in the South wanted to retain office, they hired thugs to bring them into office, and after that they used them. So we need to go to that. And don't forget, at a time, we also opened our borders as a nation that some people could come into Nigeria. What human capital capacity were they bringing into Nigeria? And now we are complaining about banditry. And we have blamed traditional rulers, we have blamed everybody, we have blamed preachers. But I want us to focus on the foundation. Yeah. My Lafia said recently that he had a clue on some of the sponsors of Boko Haram. DSS clamped down on him. I believe that we can solve this problem when we go to the foundational. The governor of Kaduna State, Masari, was saying recently that the only way to deal with bandits is by synergy between the security chiefs. Who is to enforce that synergy? And that is the big question this morning. So when we are tired of shedding blood, we will solve these problems. And I pray that God will have mercy on our nation because he is the custodian and owner of souls.
Absolutely. Let's get your reaction, Smart Akweju, to his statement. Now, he mentioned leadership and hatred for perhaps one another. Seemingly, we haven't healed perhaps from the incidents of the past as being some of the key drivers of the insecurity we're witnessing across perhaps the country. First,
I will quickly say this. Ebenezer Obey sang one song. He said, that if a community is thriving, is because they have a good leader. If we have insecurity in this nation, then let us go and look at our leadership. First, who takes the decision? It is the leaders. We have problem with leadership in this country, and until we solve that leadership problem, until the leaders make bold themselves that say, look, we want to solve this. As far as I'm concerned, I've always said insecurity is not too much of a big problem if we have leaders that are willing to tackle it. Now, first, you will see that you talked about synergy. As far as I'm concerned, there is no synergy among our security officers. They are all working at cross purposes. They have never, you see, even the insecurity in Nigeria does not even warrant even bringing the soldiers.
Which are now being said to be overstretched.
Which have been overstretched. Does not warrant bringing the soldiers. Look, if we equipped the SSS more, which is the DSS they call them now, let us equip the DSS more. What we do is that, you see, you don't start reacting. You start by preventing. How do you do this? You do, that's what we call security brief every morning that they pass to all this, whatever. Who gives the security brief? It is the SSS. They will know those who are coming because they will be because the SSS men in that community will behave like part of them. We behave like local farmers. We behave like whatever, like fishermen. They will get all this and they are passing on the information to the base, and they are collecting this information and giving it to the leader. The leader they say, okay, these people have come in at about 2 a.m. Go and round them up. You don't wait until they attack and start pursuing them. No, they will run away. So, since we have a leadership problem, honestly, I don't see these governments. I don't see the insecurity problem getting off. Rather, it will even be increasing. At every little thing, you see, look at yesterday ordinarily, because tax force want to enforce an order of the state, there was reaction.
Yeah.
Now, do we even have the data of the Okada riders in Lagos State? We don't have it. People will come in, even the word. The problem can be solved if we have good leaders. We start from the first place is that when an Okada man, just somebody will just come, will drop at a beggar there, and the next thing you will see him sleeping under the bridge. The next moment is riding Okada. It's not done. We don't even coordinate the inflow of people into the country, into the states. We're not saying that there is no free movement. Yes, there should be free movement, but if anybody is coming in, we should be able to know.
Have details on the person. Now, he mentioned something that I'd like for you to touch on. He talked about the willingness. And the question is, why is it so difficult to address this? Are we not seeing how much it's costing us economically? Investors cannot come into a country that they know is not safe to make the needed investment to the country. So what is really the issue, the challenge that we cannot nip this in the bud?
Because it may be serving the purpose of the enemies of the states, as expressed by Governor El Rufai, in the sense that I believe that the government has the capacity to work and minimize insecurity in Nigeria. And I will give some clinical examples. When the Shiites became a trouble to the government, they were dealt with decisively. Over 300 killed. When it was time to send Nnamdi Kanu out of this country, there was a dance in the southeast. When it was time to quell the NSAS peaceful protest, it was done clinically. We are still debating it, covering what may be covered and things like that. So when the government decides that we are tired of this insecurity, it will be done. But having said that, you benchmark it with the policy implementations. I think there may be an intention to repress the people of Nigeria, repress the economy, create poverty,
to what end?
And things like that. And if a regime is comfortable with that, history will record it, that during this regime, it was a tough time for the citizens. But it's just a phase. We go beyond this. But I've raised some valid points this morning. Let researchers go and deal with these issues. There are fundamental issues. Are we really united in this country? And
the president has said that the unity of this nation cannot be negotiated.
We are not talking about negotiating unity, but what benefits do we derive from that unity? I mean, Section 14, subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended says that the security and the welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. And let me ask a simple question. If a bag of rice is about 40,000 naira today, has that any impact on welfare? If dollar is 470 naira today, has that any impact on the welfare of the people? If undergraduates have been out of school for about 8 months and we are still debating on how the lecturers will be paid, does that touch on welfare? If today the National Assembly is just coming up to say the president should be treated in Aso Villa Clinic and they should budget for it, can we claim that there is the welfare of people is being protected? If today, according to SBM intelligence report recently, I think in July 2020, about 2,700 souls were wasted in Nigeria within 3 months. Can we claim their security? And we are talking about foreign direct investment. Who wants to invest in such a region? So my submission is that if the government really wants to be faithful to the expectations of the Constitution of Nigeria, which even says there must be prosperity in the way our resources are harnessed, then we solve the problems. But like my brother brilliantly mentioned, some of us are afraid. When you look at the elements that have been brought into this country, violence in nature, everywhere now, kidnapping, Abuja, Kaduna, banditry, killings, farmers can hardly go to farms. So what direction are we facing? And this, by divine mandate, Nigeria is the greatest nation in the world, the most blessed nation in the world. But
Absolutely.
I go back to what I said, blessed is that regime that allows the greatness of this country to manifest.
Which is, you mentioned kidnapping, which is one of the stories on the front page of the Daily Trust, where kidnappers are demanding 270 million naira ransom for 9 ABU students who were kidnapped. Kidnapping has become a lucrative business.
You see, sometime when Yar'Adua was going to introduce this amnesty with the Niger Delta, I was against it. And why I was against it is because, in the first place, I saw what they are doing as a criminal act. Kidnapping for ransom. Kidnap expatriates, you go and pay ransom and they will release them. It was wrong. Now I said, okay, don't do this again. You see, don't do this again. We will do this for you. You see, I said, look, the moment you start a crime in Nigeria, it does not go off. It will either increase, and if it does not increase, it will probably come down minimal, but that you will eradicate it, no. Kidnapping has become... is it Shehu Sani?
Yes.
He said, look, somebody tweeted at him and said, oh, I missed the rail. I'm coming to Kaduna by rail, by road. He said, please hold your ransom. So it has become a child's play. Those days from Abuja, we just said, let's go to Kaduna because the road was good. And before you know, 1 hour, 30 minutes, almost 2 hours, we are in Kaduna on a good road. But nobody dares it now. Nobody. So, you see, this issue of kidnapping, we still have to come back to community policing. We still have to come back to synergy among our security agencies. We still have to come back with letting DSS do their job. You see, right these days we see guys wearing vests, DSS. Those days we don't know them.
You don't see them.
You don't even see them. So at least I can say, okay, I saw this one when he arrested this thing. Okay, I can identify this face. Those days you don't know them. Those DSS, they must pull those vests. They must go back to the village and behave like the villagers. All those villages, all those hamlets along that Kaduna route. Let them be farming there. Let them be trading there. Then we get them. Because the moment they commit the crime, they run into the bush. You will see them going and you know what to do. You see them coming and you alert. You see, there is nothing we can do if we don't have an effective intelligence gathering. We don't wait until they strike. Let us even stop them from striking. And the only way we can stop them from striking is that we know these people, they are here. And before they move on, they've circled them. We don't allow it. It's so sad that where will these boys now, where will these children now get, where will their parents get 30 million each. 30 million each. Which government will pay for them?
Let's get
your
submission to this issue now. How do we nip this in the bud?
Let's allow good governance. Very simple. Recently in the UAE government convicted about 6 sponsors of Boko Haram in UAE. Have we even, and here we even have information that we assist intelligence action towards clamping down on the sponsors of Boko Haram. We intimidate those who are providing the information. So, and if I were to be in a classroom and I'm answering questions, and the question is this regime willing to stop insecurity in Nigeria? My answer may be no, from the facts on ground. But I have said it, we have very beautiful examples of how we have performed excellently in stopping. In fact, right now we are even claiming that we clamp down. We have about zero tolerance for protest. It's fundamental human rights of people to protest. When a child is hungry, the child should cry out for food. You see, so let's divert our attention to the right place. What has happened to the case of Wadume? A kingpin kidnapper who was caught, and soldiers killed trained Nigerian policemen, set the kidnapper free.
So invariably, justice plays a major role. Not seeing justice to be done is also playing a major role with what we're seeing happening.
Definitely. In Section 17 of our Constitution, as amended, it says that the social order of the nation shall be based on justice, freedom, and equity. So if you don't have that, then we are just dancing around the bush. And I am afraid, because right now we are going around the circle. Okay, southeast, north, southwest. And we are not focusing on good governance. For me, it doesn't matter who is in charge of the country. Engage our resources, create happiness, create opportunities, take care of the people, let there be prosperity. And that is why I've taken the pain this morning to lead us to the roots. The fruits of a tree will reflect the nutrients of the root. So we have fundamental problems in this country, and we must deal with it. And we are quick to say it's not negotiable. If you don't negotiate the foundation, what can you build on that foundation? So we need to revisit, who are we? If we are a nation, why are we not enjoying the good of this land? Why are people dying every day? Why should I be going through headlines consistently for years? And the news are similar, sad news. Why? Why? I'm asking these questions. And that is not the purpose of governance. We don't have all the time this morning. And the United Nations has simplified it by the 2030 agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
Are we even moving in the direction? What are we doing to education, to health, to dealing with hunger? There is serious hunger in the land. I just told us now a bag of rice imported is almost 40,000. So what happens at Christmas now? And minimum wage is around 30,000 naira. Dollar is 470 naira. Dollar. So we need to look at our economy, and eventually we need to refocus the attention of this regime to the electoral promises, to fight corruption, to revive the economy, and to minimize insecurity. Because all countries of the world have traces of insecurity. Have we delivered on these promises? And if you fail to deliver on your promises, can we claim you are excellent, or you are average, or you're poor in performance? I'm so glad recently how is it Super Eagles, how they behave, and we are threatening, we will sack them. Then can we liken that to the performance of the government? Right. I love this country, and we need peace, we need progress, we need unity, we need to have faith in the Project Nigeria. And they are possible if the will is there. And we are demanding that will today and praying that God will release the wisdom to do the needful.
Amen. Quickly, he mentioned something that I'd like for you to touch on before we move, which is the criminal justice system, which a lot of persons says it is not what it's supposed to be. A lot of persons, even during the hashtag #EndSARS protest, one of the major issues that a lot of persons were demanding was justice. How is that fueling a lot of the reactions we're getting?
You see, in the first place, if I commit an offense and I'm not held accountable for my offense, Jide will do the same thing. You will follow suit. It now turns to anarchy. It is because of that simple fact that we've not had a justice system that works. Seemingly, not being pronounced that our justice system is working, but seeing it worked that is even what brought even the issue of EndSARS. It's just that what we are asking for is just justice. If there is no justice, what you have is anarchy and chaos, like what we have. Now, on the criminal justice system, a good example he has made. If you are so quick within Nigeria to trace the accounts of the EndSARS movement, guys, what have kept you from tracing from within Nigeria? Let us even have 5 of these Boko Haram sponsors. I gave an example somewhere in one of these studios, and maybe here. I said, look, you are talking about investigating. Now we saw a brand new e-locks where they went and attacked this Boko Haram. They saw a brand new e-locks. Why don't you ask who bought these e-locks? With the chassis number, you can know who bought these e-locks. If you know the person that bought that e-locks, how did he get to the Boko Haram territory? Was it stolen? If it was stolen, did you report? If you have reported, then we know that it was stolen and the Boko Haram are using it. But you find most of the time, Boko Haram, they are using motorbikes, they are using e-locks to carry their armored, aircraft attack guns. And yet, we have not even carried out one single investigation. And we are so quick to carry out investigation for these EndSARS guys, and you are freezing their accounts, you are going to their houses to arrest them, you are detaining them, taking them to Abuja. For what? What have they done that is criminal? All right. I don't see what they have done that is criminal. For protesting, for standing for justice, you are treating them, and those people that are Boko Haram, you've not treated them the same way. No,
the army has said about 386 Boko Haram terrorists convicted in 2 years. 40 cases still pending.
What of their sponsors? We've not gotten one. And if you don't get their sponsors, they will keep, look, it's a mass movement. They will keep recruiting them the more until we get to the source of supply. If we cut off that source of supply, then you won't have them again. But in as much as the source of supply is still flourishing, definitely you will have more Boko Haram. We cannot end Boko Haram until we cut off that source.
All right, gentlemen, we have to leave it, this conversation here. Smart Okpejo Jide Ologun, gentlemen, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning.
God bless Nigeria.
Thank you.
Indeed.